Hey, it's Tara with Reiki on the Run, and today I want to talk about 5 ways we unintentionally hurt ourselves with the things that we do every day. And I usually like to get right into it, but I want to provide a little back story as to why I'm paying so much attention to this. I don't if you watched, I put a video out several years ago about, I think it was the top 5 books, and then I added one that changed my life. There was a book called The Untethered Soul that was one of those books that just busted my soul wide open, and I grew and expanded so much. And I just found out recently that he wrote a follow-up book last year, and so I was so excited to get it, so I'm reading it now. I'll put the link below to that first book if you haven't read it, if you're interested and want to check out the reviews and see if it's for you. But it talks about, in the original book, about the untethered soul, about how we are so connected to our thoughts, and it really made me aware that I'm not my thoughts, I'm not all those things I think of. And I was able to separate from that and really grow. And then in this book, it's talking about living an untethered life. And so I'm really focusing on not being affected by all the outer things that are going on, all the things that happen in front of me, life that happens in front of me, being able to just be okay with whatever is. So as I've been practicing that, I've been noticing so many things that keep us from growing, so many things that hurt us emotionally, so many ways that we don't realize. And so that's just what brought this to my awareness. So anyway, I'll leave that below. It's not my book, it's a book that I read by Michael Singer, Untethered Soul. I'll put that below. I'll also put links to my books if you're interested. So the first couple I have are probably pretty obvious, more well-known, and then maybe you won't realize some of the others. But the first one is not staying present. So we can keep ourselves in the past, worrying about something that we've done, things that we've done, mistakes that we've made plenty. Or we can be worrying about the future, thinking something's going to happen. I don't know how many times I've had conversations in my head that I think I'm going to have that I never have. And I can live up there, we can all live up there. And it really robs you from enjoying life. It really hurts you because you are wrapped up in things that aren't happening right now. So if you are upset about something in the past and you keep reliving it and reliving it, you're just living in that energy and marinating in that energy, and that's hurting you. That's keeping you from being able to grow. That's keeping you from being happy right now, even though this something happened a long time ago. And the same with the future, constantly worrying about something that might happen. We usually worry about, the worst outcomes of things, and it again robs you of the beauty that's around you right now. And I've always said this: if people could just learn to be mindful, to be present right here, right now, all the time, the majority of your problems would go away. They would just disappear, because what's happening right now is never all those things that you're thinking of. What's happening right now is usually just fine. Everything's fine. There are no problems. It's just all up in our head. And that can really hurt us. That can really keep us from growing, from enjoying life, is staying in those thoughts and staying in that energy of bad things that have happened, or things you worry about happening in the future. And the next one is comparing. Comparing yourself to other people really can harm you. I think they say that Theodore Roosevelt, I don't know, I wasn't there, said that comparison is the thief of joy. And it really is. Once you start comparing, you're amplifying duality, which is what we want to get rid of, right? We want to understand that we're not separated, that we're all the same, that we're all one. And that's a difficult concept. That's something that I understand deeply because I've read so much about it and thought a lot about it. And I've felt it a few times deep in meditation where I didn't just get the concept, I didn't just understand it intellectually, I felt it, I was it, I completely knew it. That you go from an understanding to a knowing sometimes. And even though I know that, I've known that, I understand that, I still drop into that. You've got to be on some monk level shit to drop duality and not feel that separateness from other people. But when you actively compare yourself to other people, good or bad, you're just setting yourself up. Because if you're saying that you're not as good as someone, you don't know. We're all different. We've all had different experiences. We all look different. Our bodies are different. Everything about us is so different. But you can look at someone and think, I've done this several times where I think they just have it all. Those people have it all. They don't have problems. And then you get to know them and they've got problems you would never want. And you can't understand what anyone else is going through. You have no idea. And then even comparing on the other side, if you're thinking that you are better than someone, that is not good for you. That's definitely hurting you. That's just boosting yourself up because someone else is less than, in your opinion. And that's a really shady, sad place to go down. Gossiping and things like that. That's just not a good place to be. So trying not to compare. I think that it's good to boost yourself up and to feel good about yourself. I try to stay in a good high vibration as much as possible, and to feel joy as much as possible, and love. And I think it's great to feel good about yourself, but not at the expense of others, not because someone else isn't as good. I think it's great to build yourself up, build others up, feel good about yourself, feel good about others, understanding that we are all one. But comparing definitely hurts you. So the next one, not doing enough for ourselves. I think it's real easy in a lot of cultures to want to put other people first, want to put your kids first, your spouse, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, whatever, putting work first, putting all these things first because you want to do a good job, you want to be a good person, you want people to like you, you want to be to have your work product good, all those things. But you really can't give what you don't have. So if you aren't taking care of yourself, if you aren't putting good things into your body, moving your body, doing things that you enjoy, laughing, dancing, having fun, whatever those things are, you won't have anything to give to anyone. And at a point, you'll get resentful. A lot of people give, and they get upset because they don't get back. And nobody can take care of you. No one can give you happiness. No one can be in charge of that. You have to be happy on your own. That comes from within, and you can't rely on others. And so you can easily get resentful if you give, and you don't get appreciation back, or you don't get back, and things like that. And that can really harm you in your growth and stunt you, and just not a good place to be in. So really important to take care of yourself. Also, while taking care of other people, that's fine. But you overflow with what you put in for yourself. And when you take care of yourself in a great way, that will overflow out into other people. And it ends up, you help other people more in a better way if you've taken care of yourself first. So that's a big one. The next one is waiting for the world to unfold the way you want it to. So this is a big thing that they talk about in the second book that I'm reading, and it's so true. We can sit and think, oh, if these people would just drive better, I'd be having a better day. If my spouse would do the things I want and act the way I wanted to, I wouldn't be so uptight and upset. If my kids would stop acting up at school, it's always, once I get this degree, life will be better. Once I get this new car, then I'll be better. Once the world unfolds the way I want it to, I'll be better. And that is just not a truth. That's not a truth. If you've ever gotten a new car, you want this new car forever, you finally get it. 2 months later, it's not new, it's not exciting, it didn't change your life like you thought it would. Same with, if you haven't had a relationship and you just want a relationship, and oh, my life would be so much better if someone loved me. If you aren't fulfilling yourself from within, if you aren't bringing your own joy to the relationship, someone else can't make it happy for you. Maybe for a while, maybe for a few months or a year, or however long, but the world doing everything you want, you can't wait for that. And it's not going to work because it's all always temporary. But we have it in our heads that if I would just get this thing, if I just had this thing, if I just had this way, if I would lived here, if I had this job, if I had this, I would be fine. And it is damaging because you spend all your time waiting to get that thing. So you're not enjoying life until you get that thing, because you're saying, I can't be whole, I can't be good until I get this thing. And then you get it, and it's a high for however long, and then back to the same. And then there's something else that you want. And there's something else that is a reason that you can't enjoy life, that you can't be happy. So really hurtful to walk around this world expecting everybody to do what you want to make you happy. That's never going to happen. And that's just going to be an uphill battle constantly, just expecting people to act the way you want so you can feel better. So really important to learn how to cultivate that happiness inside without people doing what you want, without having all the things you want, right here now, experiencing joy. And interestingly enough, with the law of attraction, with attracting like energetic experiences, when you learn to cultivate that joy in you, and you learn to be happy without the things come to you, because then you're a match to those things. But as long as you're saying, they're not doing this, I can't be happy, I need this to be happy, and so it is, then you won't be happy until you have those things. And again, it'll be temporary. So super important to try to cultivate your own happiness. Bring it from within, no matter what's happening around you. Bad things happen all the time, good things happen all the time. Just let it all be as it is, and find a way to experience that joy without needing the whole world to unfold properly in front of you. And the last way that we hurt ourselves unintentionally is by not expanding. And this is, in many ways, there are so many things that you can do to grow. I happen to love learning and, learning more about raising my consciousness, learning more about, how the world works and how energy works, and things like that. My poor kids, when they were little, there was no Nickelodeon or whatever all the cartoon channels are that they were going to watch TV. It was going to be a pre-approved documentary, so they know tons of random facts about things, and like the most dangerous insects in Asia, or all these things. But I just have a thirst for knowledge. I like to know things. I don't like to be entertained by most of the time. I can still watch a few things, but most sitcoms and normal shows don't interest me. I like real things, and I like to learn things. I like to be smarter at the end of a show, not just passing time. That's just me. And a lot of people just stay in their little bubble, and there's so much to learn. There's so much world to see. There's so many things to learn. it's funny because that's how you get wise, is by experiencing things. And we'll be quick to make fun of somebody because they don't know something we know, but we don't even know a speck of all the things there are to know. And it's in that learning, sharing experiences that you do become more wise. Once you learn about something, then you're a knower of it. And it's expansion, which I think is exactly what we're here to do, not just stay in our own bubble and not grow. I always say this about Texas. I've met some of the nicest people I've ever met in my life in Texas, but I've never met so many people who have never even left their state. It just is so interesting to me. Now, I left the country. I went overseas for the first time when I was 9 months old, so it's kind of ingrained in me, and I've always traveled a ton. But the idea that I wouldn't want to travel somewhere new, out of my state, out of my country, is odd to me. And I just think that there's so much to see. There's so many amazing places, so many different people. That's another thing that people get a tunnel vision. You're in an area where it's all the same people and they do all the same things, and there's really no difference in culture, and you just get used to that and tend to think that that's the way things are done, and maybe even that it's superior to the way other people do things, and it's a very unfortunate mindset to be in. Nothing feels better than when I read a book or watch a video or learn from someone talking about expanding consciousness, about how to make myself more present, things like that. And it's just so important to my growth. And it's a widespread thing though, because I rarely meet people who are interested in that. You meet a lot of people who reminisce about the past and complain about their problems, and there's not a lot of chatting going on about growth and new things and what people want to experience or what they've learned recently. So I think that hurts you, because there's so much to be said when you learn something new, when you expand, in any way that is, when you just try something new, and you can start small with, walking every day, going a different way on your way home, trying a different restaurant instead of going to the same ones, looking up information on different cultures, looking up things that you don't agree with to see what they're really all about. I mean, there's so many avenues that you can go down, and that feeling of expansion is unmatched in my opinion. And I think that we're really hurting ourselves if we're not actively pursuing those experiences, those expansions, and other people who want to grow. If you've ever been in a relationship with, anyone, friends, family, romantic, and you want to grow and they don't, it's a pull, it's a tug, it's hard. So a lot of times you almost feel like you can't expand because somebody's going to make fun of you, somebody's going to not grow with you, and you're scared that's going to pull you apart and you won't be on the same level, which is true. That will happen. But I think ultimately it's worth it to expand. So anyway, that's it. That's my 5 ways that I've noticed that I myself and other people are unintentionally, intentionally. It'll be intentional now that you know. But 5 ways that we unintentionally harm ourselves. And I hope that you enjoyed this. And if anybody hasn't told you today, I love you very much, and I will talk to you soon.